my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today we're going to talk about Ball FighterZ Season 2 downloadable characters, DLC downloadable content, whatever the hell you want to call it. Before I start, a couple disclaimers. Number one, big shout out to Lotus. If you want to see Lotus's video, he kind of did his own video talking about which characters he thinks is going to be in the game. I'll link that in the description below, so go check that out. Number two, what I want from you guys is I want you guys to give me your own predictions. So in the comment section below, pick 8 characters. Do not edit your comment. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you end up calling all 8 characters, once we get the hard information of what's going to be in Season 2, like the data mine information, stuff like that, what I want you to do is months down the line, come back to this video, if you remember, take a screenshot of your comment and send it to me on Twitter at Rhymestyle. Let's see if any of you guys can call all 8. Not 7, not 5, not 6, not 1, all 8. And do not edit your comment, because if you send me a comment down the line in the next couple months that says edited, I'm just going to assume that you probably just changed it to send me that screenshot. So let's see who can guess that. Number 3, while you're at it, feel free to slap a like in the video because Ball FighterZ is awesome and you guys always want to see more FighterZ content, which I assume also includes discussions like this. So, what's going to be in Season 2? Well, there's a lot of options, but I picked up 8 characters that I feel like have the best choice to be in the game based on what I've seen in past games that have been coming out for the last couple decades. Because I mean, every single game, I played all of them when it comes down to it, like all 120 something games. Actually, there's more now. But there's like over 100 games right now that I've played, and I've seen how they've done the characters from sequel to sequel, to DLC to DLC. Like, I feel like I kind of got to figure out how they work. So first and foremost, number 1, Kefla is a no-brainer. The thing that's kind of missing in Ball FighterZ right now is more female characters. And we've seen more female characters in the past. I mean, we've even seen characters like Chi-Chi in Super Dragon Ball Z on the PlayStation 2. We've seen a lot of female characters in the past. So the question is why did they skimp out on Ball FighterZ? Well, to answer that question, they kind of want to focus on a small roster and really kind of like flesh out the characters they gave us, and in the process of doing that, they kind of focus more on the more popular ones. In this case, you know, the Gokus, the Vegetas, the Trunkses, and stuff like that. The Beerus, the Cells, yada yada yada. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't get female fighters. So it only makes sense to add one of the best ones, Kefla. I mean, she's a fused character, which people love fused characters. She has a pretty intense and brawler-like fight style, and on top of that, she's very, very flashy. Hello? That literally screams Arxis. Like, Arxis is like, Kefla was made for Arxis to take that character and turn her into a character in the game. It only makes sense. So Kefla, easy, hands down, I feel like it's going to be one of the 8 characters at some point in Season 2. But not just there, I'm going to go ahead and take another step above that and say Videl. Now, I know some of you guys, well, probably not the ones watching my video because mostly Dragon Ball fans watch my video, but some of you guys did get into Dragon Ball with the release of Dragon Ball FighterZ. And you're probably wondering, Videl, isn't that Gohan's wife? Yes, but she's actually a fighter, and not just a fighter, she's a good fighter. She's a brawler, melee-style character, obviously. She doesn't have flashy Kamehamehas and final flashes and galley guns and stuff like that. She's just a brawler. She'll beat your ass. And in the past game, she actually ended up being a pretty cool melee-based character. But not just that, I feel like if we do end up getting Videl, it'll probably be like the Great Saiyan Woman variation of it, just because it kind of makes sense. That's kind of what she was known for at the time, before becoming more like a wife later in the Dragon Ball Super series. I think Great Saiyan Woman would be perfect because she would have her brawler-like fight style. I feel like all you combo artists out there that love to link together your melee attacks, she'd be great for it. I feel like she's gonna, all right now, she's gonna have a low 2L first and foremost. She's gonna have a low 2L, and she'll have some pretty awesome combos that we saw from past games like Justice Combination and stuff like that. It only makes sense. She'll probably also have a DP, because she had that knee attack where she like jumps up with her knee, similar to what Vegeta does right now in the game. So with the combination of stuff like that, she will be perfect for this game. It only makes sense. I know Videl's kind of a weird one to some of you guys, because some of you guys want to get stuff like Jiren, Ultra Instinct Goku, Blue Vegeta, the evolved one, stuff like that. But if you really look at it on paper, Videl makes a lot of sense for a game like this. So I feel like she has a pretty good chance of making the cut. On top of that, like I said, the game kind of lacks female characters, so it makes sense. For my next set of characters, this one is kind of a no-brainer. Gogeta. Number 3 is definitely going to go to Gogeta. Gogeta is easily one of the most popular characters in the series. And the fact that they, number 1, didn't release him in the first game, and 2, didn't even release him in Season 1, it only makes sense that they were saving this character for the future. Actually, with all the leaks that have been happening around Dragon Ball Super, there might be an even bigger thing around Gogeta's release when we actually end up seeing him in Season 2. But like, again, Gogeta makes a lot of sense. He's very, very flashy. His attacks look awesome. The Stardust Breaker or Soul Punisher, whatever they end up naming the attack because they keep changing every single game, is going to look absolutely perfect in this game. And along with that, number 4 is gotta be Janemba. I mean, anytime you give me a character with a sword, I think it's absolutely perfect. On top of that, with how he is super teleporty, he's able to basically attack you all over the screen because he can make those warp holes. It makes sense. Although, I feel like when it comes down to it, because they always seem to do this. They always give one character a low 2L and the other character something more in the terms of tools. I feel like Gogeta is going to be the one that has a low 2L, and then Janemba won't have the low 2L, and because of that, that will ultimately hold him back as a character. But doesn't deny the fact that he'll be one of the more cooler looking ones in Season 2. So easily, Gogeta and Janemba definitely as a second pack. For the third one, and this is where we kind of start getting very speculative and theory-like, because there's a lot of room to add characters from Dragon Ball Super, and there's a lot of room to add characters from the Dragon Ball Z series, or Dragon Ball, whatever you want to call it. But the Z series is where they introduce these characters. For this next one, I want to say Majin Vegeta. Now, I know what you guys don't want to see, some of you guys don't want to see a Goku and Vegeta show in the series, but unfortunately, that's something that's always existed in the Dragon Ball world. And Majin Vegeta, by far, is one of the coolest looking variations of Vegeta in general. He's got very unique attacks. He's got the final explosion, which if they do that right, could be insane. He's got the atomic blast. Majin Vegeta makes a lot of sense. And honestly, I kind of expected to see Majin Vegeta in Season 1, but instead we end up getting the Saiyan Saga's Vegeta, which also makes sense because he's very, very iconic. But like I'm telling you, Majin Vegeta, picture this. To those who grew up with the Dragon Ball series, picture Majin Vegeta's final explosion in Dragon Ball FighterZ and tell me that doesn't look cool. Case in point. Along with that, I feel like because, you know, they seem to kind of stick to themes, and this is one where it's like, I'm not very confident we'll see this character, but the other one next to that I feel like could be Super Buu. Now, depending on how they do Super Buu, they could either do one or two variations. Number one, they could do Super Buu, just like the Super Buu character, you know, like the tall version, that has a install available that where he basically is able to absorb a fused character. For example, like let's say he can fuse with Gohan, fuse with Piccolo or Gotenks, and then from there he develops his own unique fight style depending on who he has absorbed. I don't know if they would do something random with that, like they kind of did with Faust. Remember Faust and Guilty Gears kind of had those randomized attacks? They could do something like that, or they can skip that entire variation and go straight to Buuhan. Either way, even though Kid Buu is the ultimate Buu, when it comes down to it, Buuhan and Super Buu are also unique in their own ways of how they fight, and I feel like they could make it work. If they end up sticking to just Super Buu could have his own abilities to just basically, like I said, either absorb, or he can do stuff like the human extinction attack, which actually no, Kid Buu already has that, so he wouldn't do that. He does have an explosion at least. I don't know if they would do something similar to how it works with Super Buu, but it's like a level 1 super, or if they would just add it as a level 3. But again, there's so much room with Buu's character you can work with that you can come up with something unique that will make him completely different from Kid Buu. And with how popular Kid Buu has been in the game, I feel like it kind of makes sense that Super Buu will be an option. I'm leaning more on the sides of Buuhan just because then you can also incorporate the Super Ghost Kamikaze Kamehamehas, which he did in the series, where basically he pops out the ghost and they'll blast you from somewhere on the screen. Or you can do stuff like, you know, the variations of attack that he stole from essentially Piccolo, Gotenks, and Gohan while having them absorbed. Like there's a lot of options you can do with Buuhan. I'm kind of surprised that they end up skipping Buuhan in the series, like I said, in the first season and in the game in general. But it does leave room to see him as a character. So for the third pack, whether it ends up being a first release, second release, a third release, or even fourth release, it kind of makes sense if we get Majin Vegeta and Super Buu or Buuhan. Now, the final one. This is the one that's going to be kind of shocking to people because you're probably expecting me to say Topo, UI Goku, Evolution Vegeta. No, I'm not going to say any of those. Instead, I'm going to go straight to Bojack. Bojack! Don't you hate Bojack? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Bojack. I personally have never been a big fan of his character. But it kind of makes sense looking at the roster that we have in the game right now. If you see that what they've been doing with the releases is they've kind of been giving us a variation of characters. You got your faster characters like, for example, the Trunkses, the Gokus, the Vegetas. Then you got your technical characters like the Zamasus, the Beerus. And then you got your big bulky characters like Final Form Cooler and Broly. And if you notice, we're kind of missing on the bigger characters. I don't know if he count Cell as a big character. He kind of he's tall, but he's not really a bulky character. But Bojack kind of makes sense just because if we get Final Form Bojack, for example, he'll be in that same realm of like Final Form Cooler and Broly and like those big brawlers that have some pretty savage attack styles. And Bojack definitely has that from his galactic style attacks with the big beams and balls and stuff like that. And he's pretty much a savage when it comes out to like a beat 'em up style. I mean, you guys saw what he did in the Bojack movie. Again, I'm personally not a big fan of Bojack, nor do I really care about his character, but again, it's Arxis that's working behind this game, and for all I know, they can make Farmer with shotgun, and they will make him look good. So with that said, I'd be curious to see what they would do with a character like Bojack. But again, now for this last couple ones, it's kind of like, I feel like it's a 25% chance when it comes down to it. Something else I also want to point out is this is just my list, my speculation based off of the games I've seen over the course of the last couple of decades. This is not something that I know, because again, there's no information what's in Season 2. This is literally my guess. That's why I'm tossing out Bojack, even though I don't really like Bojack. The final character, and this is going to be, once again, you're expecting me to say something like Jiren, Topo, or UI Goku. I'm not going to say that. Instead, I'm going to say Tapion. The reason why I feel like Tapion is a good option is, again, he offers something that's different, that's already available compared to most characters. Tapion is quick, he's got a sword. Anytime you give a character a sword, they automatically win. This is another reason why I think Janemba will be awesome in the game. I feel like Tapion would offer a completely unique fight style, from having his flute barrier to his sword-based attacks, that he will be a perfect addition to the game. But outside of that, that's pretty much everything. So we got Gogeta Janemba, Bojack Tapion, Kefla Videl, Boo, or Buhan, Super Boo, and Majin Vegeta as my list. Now I do have some honorable mentions as well, because there's always a possibility to explore these characters. For my honorable mentions, I got, and this is going to shock everybody, I got Raditz as one, just due to the fact that we've seen them release people like base Goku, base Vegeta, and for some reason, a lot of people have been requesting and demanding that Raditz gets added. I know some of you guys watch this video are going to be like, huh, Raditz, like, I'm good. But yeah, Raditz is actually very, very popular, and I feel like with him lacking in fighters, there's been an influx of people requesting to have him as a future character. Now, I'm not a big Raditz fan, but he does have a pretty unique fight style that we saw in past games, and he would actually could fit pretty well in the roster when it comes down to it. But yeah, Raditz definitely has my honorable mention. I got Roshi up there. The only reason why I'm not adding Roshi on my list is just because he is more of a human character, similar to Hercule Satan. I feel like since they're so human, despite them being very, very unique and come down to having like a pretty awesome fight style, Roshi doesn't fly. I mean, granted, I guess you can give both him and Hercule a jetpack, which will count as his super dashes essentially. But I feel like because of how human both of those characters are, we most likely won't see them. On top of that, Hercule Satan in general would make sense just because he wouldn't really do any damage, if that also makes sense. Like, why waste the development time on a character that would have no damage? So keep that in mind. The other ones I want to toss in there is also Jiren and UI Goku. I feel like UI Goku wouldn't be in it just because we already have so many variations of Goku in the game as is. You know, you got Super Saiyan Goku, you got Base Goku, you got Blue Goku, you got technically Rose as well, even though he's not really Goku, but you get my point. I feel like we already had our fair share of Gokus. On top of that, UI Goku would just be, I feel like since that's his like ultimate form, it just sounds too busted to make in this game, if that makes sense. Like, you also gotta think about the balancing factor between these characters. And with Jiren, despite Jiren being pretty popular in the Tournament of Power, I also feel like it's kind of missing like that it factor of like, you know, he should be in this game next to someone like Gogeta and Janemba. While, you know, Jiren did capture a lot of people's hearts as far as, you know, developing fans in the series, I feel like Jiren was kind of always missing that one thing that made him like really, really stand out compared to other villains like Goku Black, for example. So I feel like we most likely wouldn't see Jiren. And as far as Topo, well, Topo is Topo. I feel like Topo just kind of missed the ball. Another one I'm going to toss out as honorable mention before I end the video is definitely going to be, what's her face, Ribrianne. I personally don't like Ribrianne. I was waiting for her to get knocked down in Tournament of Power, but well, again, we gotta admit that the game is missing some female characters, and Ribrianne could be a potential option up there. And again, looking at how they've done the game, Ribrianne could also fit pretty well with her moveset and how her character would actually work in a game like FighterZ. But again, I feel like they're gonna focus more on the older Z characters, like, you know, the Buhans, the Majin Vegetas, the Bojack and Tapions, and then they might explore Kefla from the newer characters because, again, it only makes sense. With that said, that is my theory. So let me know what you guys think is going to be potential DLC characters for Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 2. The second we get any information in regards to Season 2, I'll let you guys know as far as trailers, leaks, all that good stuff. So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe if you're new here, and I'll keep you guys in the loop. But other than that, if you enjoyed today's discussion, feel free to slap a like on the video, and I guess let me know your thoughts on who you think is going to be in Season 2. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed us today. My name is Rhymestyle, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.